My name is Paul Rose. I'm head of marketing at Virtalis. We're a VR platform company. My colleague, Dr. John Maxfield, he was due to be giving this presentation today. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I've had to step in relatively last minute. So you've got the pleasure of hearing my tones today. So the title of this presentation is How Vestas Transform Their Wind Turbine Operational Processes Utilising VR. I'm not going to do too many raise your hand moments, but I'm just going to pause for one and ask who here has heard of the company Vestas? Excellent, two. Okay, no problem. Well, I'll tell you a bit more about Virtalis a little bit later on in the presentation. I'll just give you a quick intro as to the company that I just mentioned there, Vestas, which is really the bulk of this presentation is focused on what they're achieving. So, as I say, first things first, Vestas, they are a Danish company founded in 1945. Their main area of business is wind turbines, so onshore and offshore. One of the, if not the leader in their field for this particular type of technology. They employ some 29,000 employees in about 56 countries, and that disparate workforce is a point that I'm going to come back to in due course. So you'll hear me loop back to it later in the presentation. So there is a video that I would like to share. Okay, so over the course of the next sort of 11 or 12 minutes, and I've got some guiding notes as well, just to sort of take you through this journey. So the video is playing, we're underway with the video recording now. This is all within a VR scene in the Virtalis platform. So we start outside of this Vestas facility, and what we've incorporated here is a bit of data that's going to show us a lot of things. Okay, so the data comes from a few different sources. For instance, the building is an FBX model. We've got some data from Inventor and Pro Engineer as well, which is the detail of the wind turbines. So let's take a closer look at one of the turbines. We'll have a flight up there and we'll take a look through the turbine in a bit more detail. Okay, so this turbine has got a number of selectable parts, and the team at Vestas can select a number of those parts to suit their use case. And they use it for things such as design reviews, they use it for training and operational maintenance. So as you can imagine, fairly hazardous environment if things go wrong. So it's a safer way of doing that training and learning for the staff. So they can pick up a lot of the different components, they can turn them around, they can interact with them. And the main thing is that on the left here we can see this tree. Why is that important? What it means is that the engine that is powering this scene enables the team at Vestas to look at huge data sets. But crucially, it maintains all of that engineering value that they have in the data sets as well. So none of that is lost. All that effort that might have gone into putting together the CAD models, it's not been lost. They can still have that for reference and use it. So the data and all the structure of that data has been maintained. So via the tree view in the software, the team can see, as I say, the structure of all the parts in the model, investigate each of those parts, as you can see in the video now, and the file structure of what's been created. Now, just let the video play through in a little bit further, and then we'll go into the model itself, into the wind turbine, and you can see the level of detail that's been maintained as we go. Okay, as I was saying before, this is the engineering metadata that's been maintained, and it means that they can use that as part of their operational training. So you can see here you've got the skin of the wind turbine. We can even go down into the detail of individual nuts and bolts as well, and we will see that level of detail as we go through the video. So, as I was saying before, we got into the wind turbine here, so this is going further into each of the individual components that are within, and you can see that it goes down to the level of, in this case, it's a ball bearing. So we've gone from the very macro view for the casing of the wind turbine through to the individual nuts and bolts, into the turbine, and you can see the different components there. So flying back out, if we consider that what they're using this for is for training on assembly processes, for design reviews, and it teaches people how to build and maintain both the whole turbine and the individual components therein. Okay? So, flying back into the factory itself, as we're just going back in, we can see that we are now into the VR suite. What it just showed there was a rear projection system. So this is all still within the VR scene, and this is a lot of the sort of corporate presentations when the team at Virtalis is presenting to their board or to their stakeholders or to their customers as well. And what we're going to do now is just import data in here. So we're going to take a look at a Pro Engineer import, which is Creo data, which you can see there, and then the master assembly file. And as soon as that's selected, click OK. And thankfully, at least for this part, the import is rather quick, so it saves me yet another awkward moment stood up here in front of you guys. So there we are, and we've got a radial engine that's been imported there, which for, as I say, with the metadata brought in alongside. Now, for presentation purposes, the guys can either sort of provide a talk track over that, or they can go into the detail. As we saw before when we were back in the wind turbine, they can break it down into the individual components or the individual parts of that engine as well. So you can see that there's just while that's running through, there's a number of buttons on the right-hand side of the screen there. Hopefully the contrast lets you sort of see what they are and what the wording is alongside. We're going to take a look in just 1 second at the layout planning to sort of take a step, I suppose, back from an individual component or product and take a look at a site or a factory layout planning as well. Okay, so in terms of this screen and the animation that you can see there, still all within the VR scene, we're in the boardroom and you can see that this is an existing factory layout which is used as a starting point. And there are links to real-time digital simulators, so discrete event simulation, and you can see the movement of parts, fairly small, but you can see that happening there on the animation. Okay? So, now not all factories have CAD data. They might be older than that. So what I'm about to just go into here is point cloud scanning as well, and how we can scan that and combine both the point cloud data and CAD data, overlay it, and the rendering engine handles the point cloud scans very efficiently. You can see there they are overlaid on the CAD data. And just as we go up to the top bit here, we're going to take a look at the tape measure function, which is very useful because you can use it to measure a point between space and the CAD data as well. So it achieves a three-dimensional space measurement. You can just see it happening on screen there. It's very useful for factory layout processes. So really what it does, it gives the team at Virtalis really sort of powerful, I suppose, insight of what was planned. So that was the CAD and the reality, which was the point cloud data. Enables them to work out the layout, how it all fits together, and connect all of these machines that you can see here to real-time data. So using things such as JSON scripts, they can connect that to the CAD data and actually see what each of these machines is doing. Okay? And what they can actually do is remote control these machines via the virtual reality presentation as well. So this is taking all of that CAD data and taking it one step further. And as we go a bit further into the scene, we'll see that the team at Virtalis has also taken that data and linked it to their quality data, which we'll see here. So what you can see here is, there we go, just take a look at it. We've actually got the coating of one of the wind turbine blades, which you can see here, the different part serial numbers on the left-hand side, and then the options there in the middle column. And then you can see the colour coding along the bottom there, and that is where the coating is good, green, and where it's red, bad. So a very visual indicator there. As you change the components there, the results at the bottom update accordingly. So that level of advanced visualization has transformed how Vestas are approaching their layout planning, their design reviews for the products that they have, for the training and the operational maintenance for their staff that they have there. It is made possible via the Virtalis platform, yes, but it's been implemented so effectively by the customer, and that's really the main point of this sort of show and tell. We spent the time looking at one customer, Vestas, and just as this video sort of flies out and we get the macro scene to conclude, just move on to the rest of the PowerPoint slides just to sort of conclude. Okay, so as I mentioned, this was about one customer and one customer story, which was Vestas, but the Virtalis platform is utilised by a number of major enterprises around the world, and that really incorporates a good cross-section of major industrial manufacturing and engineering companies. So you can see a few names that we've included on this slide. So a little bit about Virtalis, the company. So founded in 1989, so over 30 years old now, possibly older than some people in the room. The headquarters are located on the other side of the Pennines in Manchester. No booing, please. We also have an office in the US, utilised by over 100 companies and over 300 professional VR installations in 56 countries. We've got more than 70 dedicated employees located around the world, actually, helping customers every day deploy their VR strategies. So I know every company says that they are unique and that they have their unique selling points and unique value points. So we are unique in the sense that we enable this on-demand collaboration involving large 3D models, anytime, anywhere, across multiple devices. And again, this references the point that I made at the very start of the story about the remote collaboration and having employees in disparate geographical locations being able to collaborate together without having to physically come together. Okay, so this is the final slide from me, but before I sort of thank you for your time and attention today, I must take a moment to point you towards our LinkedIn page. We share a lot on there, and we certainly should do because it's my team that runs the page. So please visit, please follow, stay updated on what we've got coming out with product news, updates, upcoming events, webinars, and content. Okay, so just remains for me to say thanks very much for your attention.